but I am doing God's work now. And that is all I'm doing.
For the worst, then I'm prepared to handle that as well. But, yeah, it was something.
Moments where you're kind of, almost channeling truths into...
Was China McClain truly blackballed by the entertainment industry for refusing to participate in Illuminati activities? If you've followed China's journey, you're well aware that she hasn't held back when discussing Hollywood's darker aspects and how performers are supposedly coerced into compromising situations they never anticipated when they first pursued stardom, all for the promise of greater recognition and financial rewards. What makes this particularly noteworthy is that Katt Williams attempted to sound the alarm about these same issues, yet he faced industry exile and was dismissed as mentally unstable, exactly the same treatment China has received.
Stuff is just a game. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, not just, like Satan slipping himself in a little bit. No, full-on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, dressed as a demon, got upside-down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes, and people are just like, oh, that's funny, it's, we're making fun. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that.
Here's what people need to understand about China's situation. She's not some inexperienced performer experiencing a sudden religious awakening or psychological break. This woman was positioned to become Hollywood's next major female star, but something fundamentally shifted that caused her to abandon the industry entirely, particularly following Cameron Boyce's unexpected passing. During that same period, her television series Black Lightning was abruptly terminated, and sources from within the industry have suggested that the cancellation stemmed from China's increasingly devout spiritual practices and her unwillingness to continue participating in certain aspects of the production. While speculation about the entertainment world's corrupt nature has persisted for decades, this testimony carried different weight because it originated from someone who had navigated that system since childhood, making her perspective impossible to easily dismiss or ignore.
What I did know and have known, along with the rest of the cast, since before we even started shooting this season, is that I am leaving the show. And was leaving the show. This was going to be my last season, regardless of if it went on or not, for different reasons that, to be honest, I don't want to go into. I just want y'all to trust me on it. There's been a lot to happen over this quarantine. These things are real. These people that are dying in the way of the world now, and all this is an illusion. It's an illusion. This industry, for what it is, and everything that people look to and praise, it's not important. God is moving me in more than one way than just this show. It's bigger than this show. I'm doing God's work now. And I'm not doing anything else. Just gonna put it plainly. I'm not leaving because I had a terrible time working.
Everything in China's professional trajectory had been progressing exceptionally well up to that critical turning point. She maintained a demanding schedule filled with prestigious assignments and transitioned seamlessly between high-profile productions, but the instant she disrupted the financial interests of Hollywood's power brokers by embracing her spirituality, they completely severed their relationship with her. These executives essentially terminated her career prospects and ensured she wouldn't work again, effectively blacklisting her from the industry. In retaliation for this treatment, she began publicly revealing what she characterized as the industry's satanic practices and demonic influences. Now, recall my earlier mention of her downward spiral following Cameron's death? The official autopsy determined that his passing resulted from a seizure triggered by a pre-existing medical issue, specifically epilepsy. However, China has never accepted this explanation as truthful, not for a single moment. She maintains to this very day her conviction that his death represented a ritualistic sacrifice orchestrated by industry forces. She openly challenged the autopsy findings, asserting that she had zero knowledge of Cameron's suffering from any medical condition prior to his sudden death, and that this diagnosis conveniently emerged only when authorities needed to provide an official cause of death.
Yeah, this is actually happening, I think that my mind is just kind of shut down at this point. So I'm just kind of feeling a little numb, just like a little bit empty, like just going through the motions and just like I'll never again have a friend like Cameron.
Following this traumatic period, China began systematically withdrawing from the entertainment world completely. She shaved her head entirely and began creating content on TikTok, where she discussed how divine intervention had rescued her from the industry's corrupting darkness. These revelatory videos generated significant backlash from various parties, and the criticism arrived almost instantaneously after she posted them. She simultaneously saturated her social media platforms with Christian messaging and evangelized her newfound faith, without reservation. But this approach also generated controversy, because audiences perceived her as diminishing other religious traditions and presenting Christianity as the exclusive legitimate spiritual path.
Ever heard of the theory of general relativity? It's what Einstein is famous for. In his calculations, he started to realize that the universe was not eternal. It had a beginning. Now this leads us to the law of causality. Everything that came to be needs a cause. Personal entity that is capable of existing outside of time, space, and matter. That can't be nothing but God. And for people that are like, okay, well, how do you know that it's like Christianity's God? There's only one God. But don't just take my word for it. Go look into it for yourself. One more thing. Evidence is not a substitute for faith. Following God is not a matter of evidence or proof. It's a matter of the will. You have to want to do it so you can have the peace that you're looking for. And if you don't want to make that choice, no amount of evidence is going to convince you to. You have to want to. I'm going to tell you a little secret. This building that I'm in right now built itself. You believe me? You don't? Why? Have you ever met the builder of this building? Seen the builder of this building? You know their name? If you believe someone built this building, why? And guess who else you can't blame? God. Because I've heard so many people say, no, I don't believe in God because he ain't never tried to show me no sort of sign. Really? How'd you come in contact with this video? Just say hypothetically for a second that God doesn't exist. I'm not saying that people that don't believe in God are not capable of living moral lives. I would never say anything like that. The point of this video is questioning what the foundation for morality is, objective morality.
The content that truly ignited widespread outrage occurred when she decided to publicly criticize Lil Nas X's controversial Montero music video. For those who remember, that particular video polarized the entire internet community when it initially released. Numerous viewers interpreted the visual representations of heaven, hell, and Satan as profoundly satanic imagery, and some observers went so far as to characterize it as Lil Nas X publicly declaring his allegiance to Illuminati organizations. Lil Nas responded forcefully to the backlash through social media, writing that he endured his entire adolescence consumed by self-hatred because of the toxic messages people like his critics preached. So he hoped they experienced anger and felt the identical rage they had taught gay individuals to direct at themselves. China created a response video addressing Lil Nas calling out Christians who condemn gay people to eternal damnation, but then express outrage when gay individuals embrace that condemnation narrative. In her commentary, she conspicuously avoided criticizing the judgmental Christians who were pronouncing damnation on gay individuals, yet she simultaneously failed to express solidarity with the LGBTQ community either, leaving audiences feeling like she was attempting to satisfy both opposing positions simultaneously.
There's a lot of confusion about the way God is represented by people versus who he actually is. Comments like the one on top of Lil Nas's video, they often turn into back and forth conversations about religion. Christians against the gay community or Christians against everyone else, when it's really not about Christianity or religion at all. The truth is that God exists. I don't believe in God because a religion tells me to. I know God. We have a relationship. Like I have a relationship with my mom, dad, my sisters, my brother. So when God is represented badly by a Christian or by someone that's been hurt by a Christian, it really makes me sad because it's not who he is. And that behavior also drives so many people away from getting to know him.
Her commentary didn't conclude there either, as she launched into an extensive monologue about how the entertainment industry deliberately distributes satanic material to gradually desensitize audiences and normalize demonic content in the collective consciousness over extended periods.
Entertainment industry, it's about influence. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, full-on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, dressed as a demon, got upside-down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes. People think that this stuff is just a game. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that.
Critics swiftly condemned her for being vocally confident yet fundamentally mistaken about the actual message and purpose behind Lil Nas's artistic statement. The video depicts Lil Nas being apprehended and restrained with handcuffs before being presented before a crowd of people who exile him specifically because of his sexual orientation. The video also shows these people violently screaming and hurling stones at him in condemnation. He's subsequently shown ascending toward heaven following his exile, but abruptly begins plummeting downward into the depths of hell. The video serves as an artistic representation illustrating how society persecutes gay individuals and the afterlife they're repeatedly told awaits them upon death. Commentators rapidly highlighted that she had completely misinterpreted the video's central meaning and artistic intent. It wasn't glorifying Satan or celebrating demonic forces whatsoever. It functioned as a reflective mirror directed at the very people engaging in the condemnation and persecution. Despite this misinterpretation, it doesn't diminish the validity of her observations when she addressed the industry's practice of pressuring celebrities into making Faustian bargains and compromising their integrity. This aligns precisely with the warnings Katt Williams has been repeatedly articulating for years now. Yet similar to every industry whistleblower who dares speak out, people completely dismiss their testimonies because they're in denial about the disturbing realities occurring behind closed doors. And frankly, it appears they prefer remaining ignorant rather than confronting and challenging these practices. Interestingly, Katt has specifically addressed how black men face emasculation as a deliberate humiliation ritual required for Hollywood success. And numerous observers can't help but recognize the connection to China's commentary about Lil Nas X, because if you paid attention, immediately after the industry finished exploiting him for their purposes, they discarded him without hesitation or concern. The last reports we received about him described him wandering Hollywood streets in an altered mental state, completely unclothed and disoriented.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress. The situation where now everybody's taking credit for this and that and the other, it was getting ridiculous. And I knew I was going to leave, so I got ahead of schedule, and I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah. Like I'm sitting around, I was stressed out, but the people that were telling me I was insane, I believe that they knew what was going on. So, this was troublesome.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you. It's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane.
What makes Katt's particular situation so fascinating is that other celebrities attempted to accomplish exactly what he's been persistently doing, but the critical difference lies in how the industry apparently discovered methods to silence those individuals, whereas Katt has resisted their efforts. Dave Chappelle attempted to expose the system's corruption, and they allegedly purchased his compliance and silence with financial incentives. Katt, conversely, has demonstrated himself to be considerably more difficult to suppress or control, so it appears they're implementing an entirely different strategic approach to neutralize his influence. Jim Carrey similarly attempted to speak publicly about these issues at one juncture, and that decision didn't exactly produce favorable outcomes for his career trajectory either. In 2003, Dave executed a $50 million contract with Comedy Central to create 2 additional seasons of his groundbreaking show, which at that moment represented the highest-rated programming in the network's entire broadcasting history. Then during 2004, right in the midst of producing the 3rd season, he abandoned everything without warning and vanished to South Africa. While he remained overseas maintaining a low profile, American media outlets began propagating a narrative suggesting he had experienced a mental breakdown and was struggling with severe substance abuse problems, none of which he has ever personally verified as accurate. He eventually ended his silence during a 2006 interview on The Oprah Winfrey Show, and that particular conversation actually awakened numerous viewers to the reality that the industry had been systematically pushing him out and destroying his reputation. People began accusing Oprah of being complicit in this agenda after analyzing the interview, because every single time Dave attempted to direct the discussion toward what the industry had subjected him to, Oprah consistently redirected back to insinuating that he was psychologically unstable, as if her purpose was less about allowing him to speak his truth, and more about reinforcing the predetermined narrative they had already constructed around him.
This happening in Hollywood, that a guy that tough will be on the street waving screaming, "They are trying to kill me."
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy.
Dave expanded his analysis even further by identifying a disturbing pattern he observed among black celebrities, specifically, questioning why such a disproportionate number of them appear to experience public breakdowns immediately following the signing of their most lucrative career contracts. He referenced Mariah Carey executing a $100 million agreement and subsequently experiencing that notorious Total Request Live mental breakdown that became tabloid fodder. He discussed Martin Lawrence frantically running through public streets, screaming that unidentified people were attempting to murder him, and then there existed his own perplexing situation, walking away from $50 million and literally fleeing to another continent to escape. He was essentially challenging audiences to examine this pattern of destruction and formulate their own conclusions about what these occurrences revealed.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why are they putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scenes?
Remember Katt's assertions about black men facing pressure to wear dresses as components of a deliberate humiliation ritual designed to break their spirit? Dave addressed that identical phenomenon as well. He disclosed that he also encountered pressure to wear a dress at a certain point in his career, and he categorically refused to comply with that demand. According to his account, the producers attempted to frame it as some kind of necessary rite of passage that every black male performer in the industry had to endure and accept, but Dave wasn't accepting their justification, and he absolutely wasn't participating in it. China and Katt appear to have uncovered something profoundly disturbing that the industry desperately wants to keep concealed from public awareness. That's precisely why they're working so aggressively to portray them as unstable or villainous figures when their only transgression has been revealing the truth to audiences. One commenter expressed that she demonstrates bravery for speaking publicly about these issues, acknowledging that numerous deviant practices are occurring within Hollywood and that her faith in Jesus Christ represents the only thing of genuine importance in this existence, making her decision to abandon the acting industry because of her religious convictions and spiritual beliefs truly admirable and courageous. Another individual commented that the entertainment industry represents a sick and corrupted system requiring complete systematic overhaul, and that the criminals who control power within the industry must face legal accountability and justice, while offering praise to men like Katt Williams and Terrence Howard for their strength, courage, and unwavering integrity. Now I'm interested in hearing your perspective on these matters. What's your opinion regarding China's decision to leave the industry and expose their corrupt and evil practices? And what are your thoughts on Katt Williams supporting her position and validating everything she's articulated? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other extremely messy video.